Emirates, the long-haul carrier known for its luxury services, has set new...
Abu Dhabi was built on a sandbank, so it's never had a proper harbour. But that didn't matter much when there was nothing but a few dates to ship out and a few tins to ship in.
Emirates remains the world's largest operator of the Airbus A380. The Emirates Airbus A380 can seat over 600 passengers and has a range of roughly 9,000 miles.
Emirates is one of the best airlines I've traveled in. It almost feels like a five-star hotel.
Hi everybody, we all know what Richard Branson meant when he said, if you want to be a millionaire, start with $1 billion and launch a new airline. This is because the aviation business is one of the most expensive and yet one of the least profitable businesses in the world. The aircrafts are very expensive, labor costs are very high, and most importantly, even with a slight change in oil prices, your profits could either skyrocket or nosedive.
Back when oil prices were soaring, they helped knock some airlines out of the sky and into bankruptcy.
Lower oil prices could have a severe credit effect, and we're starting to see that in the airline industry.
Fuel costs are important because they are the airline's single largest expense.
This is because in the aviation business, fuel cost alone accounts for 30 to 40% of your revenue and profit margins are barely 10%. So if your fuel cost shoots up by 30% due to a geopolitical event, unless you increase your prices, your airline will start bleeding losses. This is the reason why airlines go out of business not just in India, but all across the world.
With even financially healthy airlines across the world staring at bankruptcies,
another airline has hit turbulence.
Go First is filing for bankruptcy. Czech Airlines, one of the world's oldest airlines, is going through bankruptcy.
But you know what, guys? While hundreds of airlines have gone bankrupt all across the world, the leaders of Dubai have built such a legendary airline that this airline has been profitable for 35 out of 38 years of its operation. In fact, before COVID from 2018 to 2020, this airline generated an average revenue of $16.5 billion and an average profit of $428 million. This airline is none other than the legendary Emirates airline. And if you're a business owner or a leader, this story of Emirates has some very, very important business lessons for you. So in this episode today, let's do a deep dive and try to understand what is the story of Emirates Airlines. In a world where airlines are going bankrupt every year, how is Emirates so profitable? And most importantly, what are the business lessons that we need to learn from the legendary Emirates airline? This is a story that dates back to late 1960s Dubai, and during that time Dubai was far different from what it is today. They had not found oil and they were majorly dependent on pearl trading for money. Back then, the United Arab Emirates had not been formed and Dubai was just another fishing town that existed at the creek along the Middle Eastern trade route. So let alone buildings, it was just another desert with nothing else but people riding on camels. But this is when something crazy happened.
On the 4th of July 1962, an oil tanker called British Signal sailed from Das Island carrying Abu Dhabi's first ever cargo of oil. In 1958, the first offshore well was drilled in the Sheikh field of Abu Dhabi, and it was from this field that the first shipment of crude oil for the world market was exported on the British Signal in 1962. The progress and achievements made since that time have affected not only Abu Dhabi, but also the United Arab Emirates as a whole.
In the 1960s, the Middle Eastern regions discovered tons of oil beneath them, and suddenly they realized that they were practically sitting on a gold mine. And as the oil prices started shooting up, billions of dollars started flooding into Dubai. This is when in 1971 the United Arab Emirates was formed, which is today a federation of 7 Emirates, which are Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Sharjah, Ajman, Al Quwain, Fujairah and Ras Al Khaimah. These entities are almost like states that work autonomously within the federation. Now, while most countries who found oil spent their money recklessly, you know what the ruler of Dubai said? He said, and I quote, "I have good news and bad news. We have found oil, but not much." He said that because UAE is only the 7th largest oil reserve in the world, and in UAE also, while Abu Dhabi has 92.2 billion barrels of oil, Dubai has only 4 billion barrels of oil. So it's not like they had infinite wealth. So the ruler of Dubai knew very well that even though they have oil, it can give them money only for the next 50 years. And if they don't build alternate sources of revenue, Dubai will again become a poor country. This is why the Crown Prince of Dubai, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, called in experts to understand how to solve this problem. And many of these experts had one opinion in common, and that was to start Dubai's own airline. This is because these experts understood the importance of Dubai's location. If you look at the map, Dubai is in such a strategic location that it is just an 8-hour flight away from 5 billion people, which is 60% of the world's population. And these 5 billion people are from some of the fastest growing economies in the world, like India, China, Africa, Middle East, and even the developed countries of Europe. And this gives Dubai 3 major advantages. Number one, since Dubai falls at the midpoint, the Dubai airport could be used as a transit hub. So if a flight is going from Europe to India, it could halt at Dubai for a layover, refuel and move to India. Same is the case with a flight going from Europe to China. Secondly, if the Dubai airport can act as the hub for so many airlines, then if Dubai has its own airline, it could cater to a huge demand for flight routes to connect 5 billion people. So with such high demand, an airline is just bound to be profitable in Dubai. And thirdly, these experts saw that since Dubai is placed right at the crossroads of cargo flows, it can even ship goods to major countries and benefit from cargo revenues. And if you see the map, Dubai connects Asian economies like China and India to Africa. Dubai connects Europe and Southeast Asia. It connects Europe to Australia and New Zealand, and even connects India to North America. This is the reason why the Sheikh accepted the suggestion. But you know what, guys? He also imposed 2 very strict conditions on this team. Number one, he said that if at all Dubai has an airline, it should be of the highest quality standards in the world. And secondly, he said that there would be no additional capital injections from the government other than the $10 million given to them. So if the airline makes a profit with these conditions, well and good. If not, Dubai would rather not have an airline at all. So you know what? In spite of sitting on billions of dollars worth of oil, the Dubai government did not buy an aircraft at all. Instead, they used a concept called wet leasing to get aircraft from Pakistan. So if you know what is wet leasing, please skip to this timestamp. If you don't, here's a very simple explanation of the same. People, wet leasing is a leasing arrangement in the aviation industry where one airline, who's the lessor, they provide the aircraft, a complete crew, maintenance and insurance facilities to another airline, which is the lessee. And in return, the lessee pays the lessor on a per operated hour basis. And once they receive the aircraft, they are only responsible for fuel costs, airport fees, taxes and other operational expenses. In this case, the lessee was Emirates, who entered into a wet lease agreement with Pakistan International Airlines. And this was for 2 aircrafts, a Boeing 737 and an Airbus A300. And this gave Emirates 5 major advantages. Firstly, wet leasing allowed Emirates to commence operation within just 5 months of its inception. Secondly, it provided Emirates with the flexibility to test routes and gauge the passenger demand without committing to buying an aircraft. Thirdly, by leasing aircraft with crew and maintenance, Emirates avoided significant upfront costs, which enabled them to invest in other areas like marketing and customer service. Fourthly, because they had a well-maintained aircraft and an experienced crew, Emirates was able to offer quality service from day one, which quickly built them a reputation for excellence. And lastly, after they started testing their routes, they found that some routes had very high demand and some did not have high demand. And once they found the most profitable routes in the world, Emirates could confidently invest in its own fleet and could expand strategically. And you know what, guys? This execution was so fast and so precise that they were able to start operating within just 5 months, and within just 9 months, Emirates was a profitable airline. This is how Emirates started its operation. And this brings us to the next question. When the international market was so competitive, when the geopolitics of the world was so messy, how is it that Emirates has been such a profitable airline? Well, the first thing that helped them was labor management. If you see this chart, in the last 3 years from 2020 to 2022, the average employee cost of Emirates has been 21.6% of their operating revenue. The same for United Airlines has been 42.1%, and for British Airways, it has been 33.8%. So do you see this? The cost of labor as a percentage of revenue for Emirates is remarkably low. And if you look at the number of labor strikes that Emirates has seen, it's practically zero. But at the same time, if you look at what happens to European airlines like Ryanair, their operations are frequently disrupted due to labor strikes and pilot strikes.
Now, aviation wars are continuing to affect people in Europe.
There were long queues at the Ryanair desks in Malaga on Thursday because union members called a 3-day strike over pay and conditions, so all flights were cancelled.
There was fresh pain for European travellers on Friday after Ryanair cabin crew went on strike in Belgium, Spain and Portugal.
Security staff at London's Heathrow Airport have announced a 31-day strike affecting travellers at UK's busiest airport.
These strikes disrupt the operation, cause heavy losses to the airline and also decrease passenger trust for future bookings. But if you look at Dubai, they have de-risked themselves from strikes and union very smartly. Firstly, the United Arab Emirates does not recognize trade unions at all. This means the workers do not have the legal right to collective bargaining or to go on a strike. Secondly, Emirates hires its crew from over 160 nationalities, and this diversity itself makes it very challenging to mobilize a large group of workers around common grievances. Thirdly, Emirates employees are often signed with fixed term contracts, and if employees breach these contracts by participating in an unauthorized strike, they could either be terminated or be penalized. So on one side, while this looks like a strict rule, on the other side, Emirates also offers competitive tax-free salaries, accommodation and other benefits to make it attractive for the employees. So in short, they give you everything you need provided you don't cause chaos. This is the reason why Emirates' labor costs do not touch unreasonable levels and their operations are not disrupted. This brings us to the second strategy of Emirates' profitability, which is their fuel strategy. Firstly, Emirates enjoys a short supply chain to nearby oil resources. In simple words, because Dubai itself has a ton of oil, it results into less fuel transportation cost. Secondly, Emirates very cleverly managed its fuel costs using a strategy called fuel hedging. For those who don't know, fuel hedging is like an insurance policy against volatile fuel prices. So if the cost of fuel today is $30, like we learned from a previous episode, if a country like Russia invades another country, then due to geopolitical tensions, the cost of fuel may shoot up to $60. So suddenly if the fuel costs increase by 100%, then the airline companies will start bleeding losses, right? So in fuel hedging, what the airline company does is that they make an agreement with another entity like an insurance company or the oil company such that the airline would pay a premium today so that they get constant prices tomorrow. In this case, a company like Emirates would agree to pay $10 extra per barrel today. So they would pay the oil company $40 per barrel today with the condition that tomorrow, even if the oil price shoots up to $80 a barrel, the airline would still pay $40 only. Similarly, if the oil price dips to $10 a barrel, the airline would still pay $40 only. So do you see what's happening over here? The airline is indirectly betting that the fuel price might go up and they would get oil at a discount. Whereas the oil company is betting that the oil price will go down and they would enjoy premium prices even when the market is down. This is called as fuel hedging. And this gives a company like Emirates two advantages. Number one, tomorrow if the oil price skyrockets, Emirates can get oil at a discount. Number two, because Emirates already knows that it is going to get oil at $40 a barrel, it can allocate its money for other expenses without bothering about the oil price shooting up. So they can spend comfortably on marketing without worrying about the fact that the oil price will shoot up and they will have to pull back their marketing budget. So fuel hedging gives you both stability and predictability of your expenses. This is how Emirates used fuel hedging, because of which they saved billions of dollars in fuel costs. And lastly, we have the fuel efficiency factor. Long story short, the younger your aircrafts are, the more efficient they are. The older they get, the more inefficient they become. Also, just like an old car needs more maintenance, every old plane needs more maintenance. So younger aircrafts mean less maintenance and more fuel efficiency. In fact, through a study on Turkish Airlines, it was observed that a 1% increase in the average fleet age causes a 6.93% increase in fuel expenses. So if you see this chart, while the average age of an Emirates fleet is 9 years, British Airways stands at 13.9 years and United Airlines' average fleet age is 16.7 years. So Emirates incurs less cost because their fleet is young. This is the fuel strategy of Emirates, and cherry on the cake, as the tourism industry of Dubai is booming, it perfectly complements the revenue of Emirates. And this is one of the most fascinating things that I discovered in the case study. Long story short, if Dubai hosts a World Expo, the government and Emirates partner together for promotions, special combo packages, and flights to get more visitors. Similarly, in-flight magazines, entertainment systems, and announcements in the Emirates promote Dubai's attractions, their events, and their festivals. This way, Dubai gets to market itself to the richest people in the world. On top of that, the Emirates members can earn and spend miles not just on flights, but also on experiences and services in Dubai. This includes everything from hotel stays to even recreational activities. So do you see this? Tourism of Dubai is benefited due to Emirates marketing, and the Emirates is benefited due to Dubai's festivals and tourism traffic. This is how, by frugally understanding the aviation market, by using the oil money in the right way, by strategically hedging its fuel, by de-risking itself from labor strikes, and by establishing a strategic partnership with Dubai Tourism, Emirates has become one of the most profitable and one of the most legendary airlines in the history of the world. And this brings us to the last part of the episode, and that are the business lessons that we need to learn from this incredible company called Emirates. Lesson number 1. Frugality is not a trait of the impoverished, but a hallmark of the wise. In this case, in today's world, while most people spend money lavishly in spite of not having a healthy financial status, the Sheikh of Dubai himself, in spite of having $1 billion, chose to spend only $10 million to start an airline. Now, do you realize he could have easily bought 2 planes? But even then, Emirates leased an aircraft from Pakistan so that they don't end up in losses. So frugality is not a trait of the impoverished, but a hallmark of the wise. Lesson number 2. As much as it is important to spot opportunities for your business, it's equally important to spot risks to your business. In this case, while Emirates identified the importance of Dubai's location, they also sharply spotted and mitigated the labor and the fuel risk, which helped them survive without disruptions. Lesson number 3. The synergy of complementary products is one of the most powerful instruments of growth. In this case, while Dubai's location helped Emirates grow, Emirates marketing bolstered Dubai's tourism. As Dubai's festivals attracted more passengers to Emirates, the Emirates Skywards program increased tourist spending in Dubai. And this symbiotic relationship is why their partnership has emerged as a $1 billion revenue machine today. This is the story of the legendary Emirates airline. And I just hope you learned something valuable from the story. That's all from my side for today, guys. If you learned something valuable, please make sure to hit the like button in order to make YouTube Baba happy. And for more such insightful business and political case studies, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.